What up? Okay. All right. Let's see if I remember how to do this. What's up, everybody? I'm MrGlasco. This is MrGlasco TV. It is Monday, June 10th, 2019. And today we're going to be playing Cooking Simulator on the PC. Yes, nailed it. Got it. Hold on. I can't see. What's up, Elon? But yeah, I'm glad to be back. I had to take a little break, and then I changed up a bunch of stuff so that then I had to adjust and reacclimate myself to getting back in the rhythm. And then a bunch of websites, they changed a bunch of stuff on their end too. So it's like, oh man. What's up, Bob? Trying to see if I can have chat. Oh wait. Trying something new too on display one. Trying to have it so that I can see. That doesn't work. Trying to see if there's a way I can. Probably should have tested this first, but we're doing it live. Trying to see if I can actually put chat over my game so I don't have to actually look away from the game. But they have to have borderless window. And they don't. So hold on, let me check a few things. Maybe full screen. Yeah. That sucks. It's not truly always on top if it's not technically always on top. I think if there's any other way to get around this. It has to be a borderless window unless, hold on, there's a chance. If I shift enter, or is it alt enter? That's technically borderless window. The game's no longer. Here, let's see, show you guys what I see. The game is no longer in. See, it says screen off, but I pushed alt shift or alt enter, which forces it into full screen, which should technically be borderless full screen, but I guess not. I guess that means I have to was on top, transparent. I just have to do it the old school. The old school, which is to open it up on this computer. Pretty sure there's going to be some games that this will work on, or actually most games that it'll work on. Hold on, don't chat. Got to authenticate all my authentications have expired. I started getting notices from Facebook saying that I don't qualify for their level up program anymore because I haven't streamed in the past 14 days or something. I don't know. It's like, chill, man. Don't you know us gamers are out here with anxiety like nobody's business, trying to do this, and then we have all these layers of pressure from ourselves, our community, and now the platforms that we use are like, hey, you need to be more better. Say, new game. Actually, I haven't played a simulator game since Surgeon Simulator, and that was fun. But I think they've gotten better. Sorry. They've gotten less about being crazy and more about being clever. So welcome to Cooking Similar. As you've already noticed, the restaurant you're now employed in does not have the greatest rating. Your task is to restore it to its former glory and reach the highest level of prestige. The last chef left the kitchen covered in sticky notes. Maybe you'll be of some use to you. Good luck. Do you want to follow the tour during your first day? Sure. Hi, I'm the manager of this place. Since it's your first day, I'll show you the ropes. But before we start, 3 important things you need to know in case you use something. One of the key bindings hints always in the bottom of the corner right. Okay. 2. During this tutorial, you can view your tasks in the bottom left corner of the screen. 3. This tutorial will autosave between stages if you lose your or stuck. You lose something. It looks like the last owner left this place in a sorry state. There's no music. Get to the phone and call something. I'm guessing like repair people to repair this. Oh, there's music. I was like, wait, what? How does the menu have music? Whatever game. Unless I have to go to like game settings. Whatever. Get to the phone. All right. Pick up. What a mess. We need to get a gas cooker running ASAP. Follow the marker. The phone with you. A marker. Oh. Okay. Now let's say just repair this better hire sometimes. We'll go with the cheapest, right? El Cheapo. 37. Try not to go bankrupt. Almost everything in the kitchen costs money, plates, products, and especially repairs. Don't take more than you need, and keep an eye on your balance. Once you're out of money, you're out of business. So the more expensive ones looks like they repair faster, but this is the beginning. So repair upper stove. Wait, what? Upper oven. Is that this? Ah. Let's give this guy all the business. Thanks for the stars, Elon. Yeah, hopefully there's music. It's gonna be weird. Oh wait, why can't I? Have to call it different? I don't understand. Great job. Put the phone away. Don't need any more. Put down. Saving. Okay, no time to take a breather. This place is empty and we're going to do something about it. First, you need some utensils. Find there's no ambient noise at least. Find the cover box. Oh, hover. God dang it. Utensils. Browse shop. Select utensils. Buy a blender. Put it down. Okay. Precise handling of tools in the kitchen is critical. Hold down shift to will open up the new ways of manipulate, however. Shift. Okay. Oh wow, this is gonna be put down. Wait, what? You wanted me to put down here. There. Pick up the cover box. What cover box? Oh wait, I was supposed to move cover box there. What is... Right. Which cover box? This one? Cover box. This one. Okay. Use the shop. Guessing I'm buying one of everything. Tray, pot, cutting board, knife, pan, spatula. Wait. Buy. Cutting board. What's up, Armor? How's it going? Pot belly. Can I just buy all of them? Speed run in. Can knife. Oh, we need 2 pots. Can I put the knife in this? Into this thing? Yeah. Professional. Pan. That's a hot. Probably not supposed to put that on there. Okay, can I hang this? We got tools, don't have any recipes, go to laptop. Can I hang this up? Yeah. Yes. Nice and ordered. Wait. Those were pots, actually? I guess so. Can I put these on there? How would it hang? It won't. Technically, I can put it up there, right? That's fine there. Use the laptop. Gmail.com. Recipes. Don't own any. Not owned. Buy a recipe. What are we cooking today? I'm feeling like some scrimps and prime rib. My kids have me watching way too much Teen Titans Go. Please don't tell me this game is silent. Hold on. What? I did not plan for this contingency. How are things cooking? Armor, I swear. Hopefully after the tutorial there's music. Wait, so what is she saying? Buy recipe. Oh, this costs 0. Okay. Is it owned? Tomato soup. That should do for now. All right. Exit the laptop. Close. Saving. See repairs, utensils, recipes. Yes, we need spices. Enter shop view. Where? Over here. Spices. La salt. This is gonna be our only ingredient. All right. Oh wait, we got more. Buy all the things. Buy. I guess I could just put it here. Buy some pepper, some dill. Oh wait, you know what? There's probably a radio. But now I wonder if it's going to actually tune into a real radio. If it's a true simulator, there should be a radio in this kitchen, right? Here it is. MP3 player. Internet stream. Cheesy FM. Hopefully Cheesy FM isn't going to get me copyright flagged. I feel like it is. I just have this feeling. But oh well. Welcome back to streaming. The headaches of streaming. Sound go down. 70 ambient volume. Like there barely is any. Why even? Enter shop view. Liquids. Chicken broth. Oh! It's alright. Saved it. Alright, let me put it somewhere where I can see. Sour creme, dada creme. Sunflower oil. Alright. How come I can't put it there? Is it too tall? Don't fall over. Regular guest, don't worry. Look, someone ordered a dish. Right. Hey, look, it's Ramsey. All right. Trout. Oh God, I'm already stressing. Trout. 100 grams. Okay. Put it on the cutting board. Put it on the bloody cutting board. Oh God. Trying to do the fine inspecting it. How do I rotate it? How do I lay it sideways? I want to turn it horizontal. Move vertically. Oh God. Whatever. Black pepper. All right, we're just gonna shake it on there. Do we have to cut it first? 5 grams each. All right, how do we know when to stop? 4, 5. Oh, we got 6. Oh wait. Wait, what happened? It has 2 grams on it. Okay, so I missed. I see. trout. A trout. Oh, it has 6. We're fine. So human. Helman Falf. Thanks for following on Mixer. What am I doing? Oh. Nice to have all these screens everywhere. Time. It's time for some seasoning. I'll find you. Alright, here we go. 5. Just a pinch. And dill. And hope there's no timers on these orders. Pretty sure there are. Trout baking tray. So just pick it up. Shouldn't I have like washed this or something? Put it on. Take it. Put it. Am I supposed to open that first, or can I do it while holding this? I feel like I'm gonna drop this. Oh no, we're good. Upper oven. Let's put it right in the middle. Optimal surrounding of heat. Oh god. Timer? Oh god. 90 minutes before it, right? Or 90 seconds. Oh god. Have you been counting? How do I set it? E. Oh god. Wait, 60, 70, 80. Let's do it this. There we go. Sir, hello, sir. Can you not? Oh, thank you. Dang it. How do I do this? I'm just not blocking this guy. Unless there was a delay. Buy a lemon. Cutting board. Knife. Chap. Do I chop it again? Oh god. Yeah. Okay. Yes. I get it. How many grams is this? 80? Oh god. Put it on here. 4 pieces. Oh wait. So I needed to cut it one more time. Cut this. Wait. Cut lemon into 4 pieces, whatever. There. They're not equal. That's fine. Buy a plate. Use a knife to cut the lemon. 4 spaces make them even. I did. I mean, close enough, right? Wait, what? Probably to hold the container in there in a hot pressing when you know how to stretch out. Change our process to oh. Hold on. Okay. Lemon. 80 grams into quarters. Whatever, it's close enough. I don't know if this is right. I feel like a whole lemon for a fish isn't, that's too much. Horseradish. Oh, wait, is that a... garnish? How do I scroll? Where's the garnish? Should I have closed this? I probably should turn this off too. Where's the garnishes? Is he telling me and I'm just... Horseradish. Oh. Okay. 80 grams of... Cut a lemon into quarters, 20 grams. Yeah, that's close enough, man. Y'all gonna have to deal with this. Oh, that's where it is. Parsley. Oh wait, can I do it from the plate? There we go. Oh, I need more. Good. Look at the marked area. Ooh, Instagram. How do I tilt? Okay, so that the background's kind of blurry. I'm an artist. Filter intensity. What makes it look better? I feel like filters always make things look weird. Unless I take the intensity down. This will make the yellows pop a little more. So we go overboard. How can I tilt the freaking? Ah, okay. Like, it's still not in the shot. It's like... Save it. This food's cold now. It's supposed to take me 7 minutes. Ooh, look at that score. See, I was off on the, I think the lemons maybe, and I think the pepper. Perfect flavors. Lemon quarters. Bad cutting technique. Perfect temperature. Really? I thought it would be cold. That's it for today. one person. Closer's 5-star rating. Still a lot ahead of us. Please don't go bankrupt. We did it. J Wheels, thanks for following on Mixer. Oh, we get perks? What kind of perks? Skill points, fast feet, steady hands. Hold down shift to freeze item in place. I feel like that's important because that would let me cut that lemon correctly. Unbreakable plates, heat-proof gloves. Pick up and carry hot ingredients in hands. That feels like it's gonna be important. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to like mess with the whole tipping things over. Long reach, unbreakable bottles. Thermal vision, limited ingredients in close oven. Connections. Busy day, slow motion. Time slows down when cutting ingredients. Said you went to offline. Dropped frames. Don't see any dropped frames on my end. But then again, I am using Restream.io, so if they have any issues, I don't know. There's nothing to notify me if they do. Fairy's Touch. Grant's Magic Wand. Removes all stains and shards. I feel like all these. Let me see. Best if I wanted to like. Oh wait, Steady Hand I already have it. Oh, recommended for new players. Okay, whatever. Skill parts are used to unlock upgrade skills in certain poses. Level up. Dish can boost. Cooking points. Any recommended for new players? Nope. I just want you to just go. Slower breakdown, lose temperature. Press lose temperature slower. Procs need time to burn. Serve dishes. I feel like I want these two: slow cooling and slow burning. Because I'm gonna be. I already could tell. Preparation phrase extended. Yeah. All right. Day 2. Ready? Hi, excited. I remember everything you served today will be something about the rating best restaurant in the city. I mean, that's a tall order. Should I wash this knife? I never washed it. I don't know if that actually did anything. Someone can have a lemon allergy. When a woman has 200 or 2,000 bees, I thought This one's this one's a keeper. But boom. Oh, laptop. Use laptop. Pick off where you say skills. Small gameplay bonus you don't anticipate bonuses today. Already did. Some skills become available once our restaurant gains enough fame. You choose to save as be unlocked. You can even reset all your skills and send your SB differently, but it costs you some. Once you're done, do the park. Random park. Which level of learning new ones. I guess all. Once you're done, you can something. And the recipes to serve a day. Should I buy more recipes? Wait, I need a 4. Oh, so I buy it with my... Wait. Buy it with my stuff. So what do we want? Soups, pork chops, duck broth. Oh, I can't afford this. Why is it not in the order of like lowest to highest? Gazpacho. I mean, I don't know what the strategy is here. Do I just get all of them? Do I try to skip ahead to get fancier dishes so I'm making more money? Let's not get greedy. Let's see if it takes away. I have 4 here. Wait. Oh no, that's my restaurant rating. So I need a chef hat. Chef hat of 1. Any chef hats of 1? Oh, I see now. So I have to wait till I get 10 and 15 to get these 2. And then when my restaurant is 1 star, then I need 10 for this. Okay, I get it now. Get it. Yikes, look at the time. What's up, Jeffrey? I am back. Took a little hiatus. First order. Salmon steak boiled. Find a big pot. I wonder if Gordon Ramsay's gonna be here the entire time. Put water. Do I put hot water? Does it matter? Perfect. I'm guessing I'm gonna put it on here. What, Brady. Thanks for subscribing on YouTube. Appreciate it, guys. Salt. Uh, 20 grams. Boom. A potato. 1. Do I peel it? Am I overthinking it? What did he say? Garden. Oh, while holding the pot. So no need to wash or peel. Got it. That's DLC. All right. Pot. Open refrigerator. Yeah, see, I thought I need to peel it too. We'll see. I don't think I have a peeler. I just have a knife. Oh, wait, how many? Is that too much? God dang it. am I looking at? 110 or 200? Yeah, I put too much in there. It's all right. Can I, can I refund? It's fine. Boel. Can I crouch to make sure the burner's on? Okay. The only one that's in your YouTube stream. Well, I appreciate it. Holding down the fort. We got multi-streaming over on Twitch and Facebook and even Periscope. Wherever I like the idea of being as accessible as possible without having to force you to stray away from like a favorite platform. Oh, I was supposed to put the salmon. Wait. Ah. Dang it. Okay. They just get a little extra salmon in there. Just a little extra. I'll fish it out later. I'm adding to the broth. This is my own. Have y'all seen Ratatouille? Sometimes you just gotta let the ingredients speak to you, and something told me they wanted just a little bit more of that salmon taste. You know what I'm saying? Pick a pan. Get the fish. Put it on the stove. Oil. Need a tong. Yeah, I only have a spatula though. I guess I can go see how much this tong costs. How many? 10. Oh god. Do I have to like tilt bottle? How do I do it? 10. 6, 8, 9. 11, that's fine. We're fine. Can I put this somewhere better? Pick up the potatoes. Oh, I think this is I wasn't supposed to get a large plate. Oh, whoever. It's too late now. Yeah, basic plate. Where's my basic plates? Potato. Wait. Dang it. Did I pour the oil in here when I was supposed to pour it over this? What is this guy talking about? Yeah, I did it. I already poured it. What? So apparently the freaking fish absorbed all of the oil? Oh my god. Game, please. This is about to be the oiliest piece of fish. Oh, great. The fillet. You like that though? So it was Wait, what's that noise? Oh, that's the noise of this cooking. Am I supposed to flip it? Oh god. I've boiled the potatoes in a broth of water and salmon. I'm liking the game, Jason. Oh god, hurry up. What do you want from me? Can I pat it down to cook it faster? Oh, that's not right. Oh wait, can I flip it? Yeah! We did it! Oh! How do I crouch? Oh no. Put it on! Wait, I got this. No. Oh my god. Stressing out, guys. Hold on, we got this. 5 second, 5 second rule. Ah, it's too hot. Dang it. Dang it. How do I? Shift. Drop. How do I pick it up? I don't understand. Okay. Still needs to cook. I'm judging it by the shadow. There we go. We did it. I think, what happens next? Transfer to plate and serve hot. Do I just grab a plate now? I flipped it early. It's fine. Oh my god. Okay. Use the shadow. Ooh, look at that flip. Nice. 60 seconds. Drop the spatula. 60 seconds. Okay, I just use this clock. When 1 minute goes by, technically. That's a fast minute. Probably don't even need this much time. Let's just eyeball it. Or until he says something. He seems to be pretty on point. With telling me when to do stuff, so maybe. Okay. Looks like it's ready. Easy. It still says fry it. I don't understand. Oh wait, is it because it's still pink right there? Oh no. Let's just slide it down. Oh no! Oh no! Ah! Ah! Okay, we're good. It's fine. This is fine. Just no. Just gently. I can't shake this off of it. Should it be that color? I feel like it shouldn't be that color. Oh my god. It's just finished cooking. We got this mess everywhere. Wash. How do I wash? Scrub. Oh wait, the thing's probably burning. Oh god. I'm done. Oh no, it's fine. Get all the flavors of the floor. This is wood grain, 100% wood grain. Quality. Dang it. Gosh dang it. Where's the bin? All right. Do I wash things? I don't understand. Rotate. Am I wasting water? Nice and clean. Onions. So wait, it's not for my hands. Am I good? We're fine, guys. Advanced tools. Vertically. We'll watch this. Big Black Steel. Thanks for the follow on Twitch. Appreciate it. Drop it. Pick up. Rotate. Nice and clean. It's still hot, really? All right, we got lunch. Yeah, I should save these, shouldn't I? Just in case somebody orders again. Am I just screwed? What happens? What happens now? I've given up on the order. The order was canceled. Why am I? Shift. Yeah, no shift. Control. There it is. Oof, look at this. Can't turn back time. Knowing how to cook is crucial. Don't know. But then, griddle. How do I clean this? Controls. I don't know the purpose. What is my purpose? Do I have to call somebody? I'm awesome. Thanks. Thank you. Awesomely bad. Oh, I beat you to it. Let's see. Well, the handyman. Let's give this guy some business because he's unless that thing's a joke where his name is mistakenly. There we go. Give him $3 to clean my clean my thing. How's my day going? My day's going well, actually. All things considered. Can we maybe I can reset the day? Not sure when this was. I think I locked the game. I soft locked it. Okay, here we go. Trying again. Find a big pot. Can I? I'm trying to split my attention between him with his drop down comments and then like this actual thing. When do I just follow only this? Sup, Mello? Thanks for hold on, Mixer. RKR 738. You as well. Okay. Philippa 1. Boom. Salty 707. Appreciate the love on Mixer. Oh, I got it. Boom. Add salt. Got it. Can I just... All right. Salt. How much salt? How much salt do we need? 20 grams. Right. Can't figure out your Microsoft password for Mixer. Password. That's all my passwords. Just kidding. Salmon. See, this is what messed me up. He said, why would you jump from one to the next? Cutting board. Was I supposed to cut this? Or maybe that's where you put it to season things? Salt goes on to... Am I supposed to be boiling that? I can't remember. Okay, hold on. Let me boil this. Set timer for 100 or 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Start timer. Seasoning. Salt. 5 grams. And pepper. 5 grams. Imagine playing this game well. What that would look like. Add to pan, sunflower oil. So let's get the pan first. Yeah, I feel like trying to listen to this dude is like stressing me out more than if I just try to read the instructions. Let's say I said 10? Oh, wait, maybe. Okay. 10. Yeah, that's a weird way of saying that it's on there. Okay. Should I heat it up first? Heat up that oil. Put the fillet on the pans. Fry, does it say the time? Fry for 60 seconds each side. 60 seconds each side. 1. Okay. We got it. We're doing it. The dream. So this is actually for this. Pick it up and put it on a basic plate. The 2 tatos. 2 tatos. Yes. Turn that off. Oh my god, it's almost flipping time. I'm gonna wait for him to say it though, because last time I flipped it early. Flip the steak. I'm waiting for the. Should I wait the 10 seconds? I think it's probably fine because I started it late actually. So flip. Okay. Stop. You're stressing me out, man. No. Gently. Yeah. Okay. Took us about, I don't know. Can I just manually do it? Let's say 30 seconds. Okay, we got this. So the question is, do I have to pick it up with a spatula or pick it up with a plate? I feel like I got to pick it up with the plate. Because the physics does not like when you make contact, downward contact onto like these things while they're like this. So you can see the salmon name, it's filling up with the green. That's also another way of telling. I guess it just has an extra crispy side there for a little crunch, you know? Serve the dish. I still don't like how I can't like pan down a little bit to center it. I want to have the plate kind of centered more so than the food. Hide UI. Shift F. Save. I'm saving all my pictures. Ding. Minute 22 to spare. What? Oh, it was tech 6 late? No, still in the green. I think I had 7. I have 7 minutes to get it done. Okay, so what happened? I boiled them too much? With too much salt? What? Heating mistakes? They didn't like the crunch. Cook your own salmon. Too much salt. Maybe I wasn't paying attention to the meters and how they were doing. No time for slacking off. Next order, I'll serve a tomato soup. Okay, we need a big pot. Should I reuse this one? Has a little extra flavor in there. Pour chicken broth in here. Technically, I think it counts as clean. It's fine. We'll have a little salmon flavor. I'll be like, what is that extra flavor? It's my secret ingredient. 700. Wait, 700 what? Milliliters? 3, 4, 5, 6. It's all right. Got a little extra. Salt. 7 people. Oh. Welcome. Hang out. Let's see if we do this right this time. I don't understand how I oversalted it. It's gonna haunt me. That oversalting is gonna haunt me. Do I have to stir it? Maybe. 12. Oh wait. Wait, did I do this wrong? Yeah, I did it wrong. How did I mess that up? What did I do it to? It's like going away. I don't understand. I'm scared. I'm gonna give somebody high blood pressure. Oh god, I don't know. cayenne pepper. We have to mix it until... Ooh, they only wanted 6. I put 12 in there. God dang it. Screw it. My checkbox is not checked. Okay. Tomato. Onion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 onion. Why down there? Why not this one? Put down in the marked area. Boil the soup. Why didn't they tell me the time? Wait. Blend. What is blend? Oh, I put it in a blender. Oh, we have to use the blending thing. 1 minute. Do I do it while it's boiling? Oh, this has been on the whole time. Shh. God, we got a mess. Okay, I assume I blend it while it's in there. Do I turn it off when I'm blending it? That's probably smart, right? Probably a smart move. So I'm nervous because I'm have to put something in here, and if I hit the walls, I feel like this thing's gonna go flying. Turn off the heat, okay. Yes. I get to leave. Okay. Blend everything. How do I do it? Move down. Gotta mix out all that salt. All right. Pour sour cream into it. Sour creme de la creme. Should this be refrigerated? I feel like... I've been deemed too nice. 150. Oh, he says stop. I keep like hesitating, and then in the hesitation, it cuts off. I feel like this should be refrigerated. Is that? You guys refrigerate your sour cream, right? Or not? Soup bowl. Pour 300 into the bowl. Using shadows again. Maybe we do it from the top. Rotate A and B. Can I rotate it down? I want to pour it like this, not like this. I feel like that's a smarter play, but I don't think it's gonna let me. So here we go. Oh wait, what? What? I have to pour over my hands, essentially? Doesn't make sense. 315. Oh, I thought I messed that up. Serve dish. Yeah. Just a simple. The most basic of soups for you. Oh, it's over. Over by 25 seconds. Dang it. I liked it though. Yep. Saw that coming. She's like, this tomato soup has some kick. Serve the dish. New order. Oh, we got another one. And another one. Okay, we've done this before. Let's see if we can do it off memory. Wop. Bop. Below bop. 5 pepper, thyme, and dill. Pepper. The thyme. The dill. I picture, yeah, it's like 5. Oh, it's too much, but whatever. We're fine. 5. It says 6 is on. Maybe some made it onto the cutting board. Maybe. Or it's fine. What was it? Time. I didn't do time yet, right? Yeah. Got that extra flavor. Place on baking tray. Right. And what? Sir. So I have to wait for the animation apparently to finish before I could just start turning and making my way. So minute 20. It's fine. Shh. Minute 20. Again with the fish on the. What else do we need to do? Lemon. It's my specialty. Dropped trout. So why do you call it dropped trout? Shh. Don't worry about it. Okay. So time is frozen right now. We'll do it like this. There. I think that's how they wanted it, maybe. Close enough. Transfer to plate. Garnish with parsley. How many grams? 6. So 3 of them. Okay, we're almost ready. Basic plate. Are they taking the plates home? Is that what's happening? Turn it off. Can I turn this off? Okay. That was risky. I was experimenting. I wasn't sure if I could turn those off while holding the plate, but I can. Beautiful. 1, 2, 3. And that's it, right? Did the guys pop up even? come on anymore? Yes. Gorgeous. With so much time to spare. Oof. Knocked it out of the park. What are your complaints? Not enough horseradish. I forgot horseradish entirely. I was supposed to put horseradish after the fish cooked. Heating mistake. No? Just simply no. No! You don't. No. Alright, Anderson, I'll see you. Thanks for hanging out. It's at the end of the day. My game's frozen. Uh-oh. Score quota at the end of the day. Okay. So your first assignment, we need you to have your fame score at least 30. Impressive. You met fame score quota. They have bound to attract a fruit critic. Good idea will be going over the quota to have some breathing space just in case. Yeah, you did it. Fruit critic wants to try our food cooking tomorrow. Impress him, and we're guaranteed a fame star. Once a critic is here, focus on his order. Score at least 4 points. Tomorrow we're going to be visiting the food critic. Impress him. You know, it would suck if they would have like rat issues. See me tomorrow. All right. I'm not sure what I'm gonna play. I could play this again, I guess, if I feel like it. Choose skill. With some other peeps. Haven't really gotten. I'm like in a lull of like a game to play. Figuring out a game I want to play. I got a couple of games that I have yet to even play in my Steam library, as I'm pretty sure we all do. I feel like these. I'm not sure if they saved me. Maybe cook time. Preparation time. Taste tolerance. Yeah, let's do taste tolerance. Actually, can we take this one away and put it towards taste tolerance also? Screw it. Make a terrible meal for the critic. Unlock recipe. I don't. I feel like soups are a what's the word I'm looking for? Soups are a time like what is it? They're like booby traps. Because if you mess up a soup, you're done. You can't. You drop it on the floor. You can't wipe that thing off. You got to make a new soup. You drop this stuff on the floor. You can. You're fine. You're good. Okay. What? How do I get out of the screen? Escape. I feel like my game is. I know. That's not as intuitive to click on that chef hat with the points, but whatever. Need some new ingredients for your recipe you can find in the store. Oh no, we have to keep track of ingredients and stuff too. I guess I could buy them all as I go too. Do these last forever? No. Looks like they have certain grammages. Should be here in 5 hours. Preparation phase. What am I preparing? Dude, this thing's messy. How do I clean it? Clean E. So clean. Supposed to do this at the end of the day, not at the beginning, but whatever, you know. It's all what? I can't reach in there. Junkie Junior. What's up? I don't know how to do this. Can I do advanced controls and manually do it? I don't think I can. Oh, I can. So that's the trick. Manual controls and then drop her in. Or not. Let me clean. Do I have to rinse it? Why can't I look up while I'm in this? You know what? I think that buffer is actually for this phase. I thought I was giving myself a buffer for cooking. Serve the dirty sponge. You think they'll show it up in the comment card? So I did not order the sponge with my SpongeBob. Boop. Hey. All this soup. What a waste. Can I just throw it in the trash? The trash person's gonna be so mad. The trash person's gonna be so mad picking up a big old bag of just. What is this? New game. What's this? Oh, we could play this. Beat your score. Oh. I wonder if you could cheat. Be like, oh man, I cooked this trout and it's all cold now. Come over to here. Boom. What if we just microwave everything? You think anybody would notice? Let's microwave the sponge. Move vertically. Move vertically. Is there a way to get the timer to go? It's just 5 seconds every time. I guess that'd be a good way to like warm something up really quick. This is your favorite. Is there a lid to this? New order. So John works. Oh, I got your order here. Need a pot. Need water. 100 milliliters. We're gonna do everything right. Except instead of the fish, they're gonna get a potato. I mean a sponge. Oh, it's fine. The amount of water is not important. 20 grams of salt. This is okay. We gotta get it on the first try, every try. 20 now. Got it. And then potato. Potato. I could just get from here. Is this keeping track? It is. Oh wait, no, it's not. It's not keeping track of the current recipe. Potatoes, 1, 2 minutes. Just one more for prosperity. Should we grill it? What if we do everything correctly but with the sponge? What if they actually give me like a good score? They're like, man, this... It was a little chewy, but the flavor was amazing. Salt. I don't know if it's gonna measure it though. Yeah. That's unfortunate. Not a true simulator. I protest. I should be able to take off my shoe and put it like on here. Start cutting it up. Probably can't even cut it either. Nope. What is this? Should I just cook it? Maybe I'll serve it with. Even though we're behind now. This thing's hard to flip. Make sure that sponge flavor seeps in. 30 seconds till that's ready. Salt. 5 grams. 7 grams it is. Black pepper. So what's that pedestal you got there for that fish? Don't worry about it. Experimenting. Oops. Experimenting in the art of culinary things is this true spice, the true spice of life. Shush. Spice of life is to be. Here we have 4 minutes. Pepper add to the pan. Let's turn this on. Oh, no. You. 4. Wait, how much is it? God dang it. 10 milliliters. $11. Some of it's gonna cook away, right? Some of it's gonna render. You can see how it's like concentrated on there. Maybe that's what I need to like evenly do it. Maybe even on both sides? No. That can't be right. 60 seconds each side. Okay. Oh wait. This has to follow all the stages. All the stages of the cooking process. In tandem. It's gonna be hilarious if I just lose the sponge and they're just like, hey, look at this. Hopefully it doesn't catch on fire. That is a clean salmon. Clean. That is a clean looking salmon right there. I do have to say so for myself. What else? Yeah, just serve as is, no extras afterwards. Okay. All right. Boom. Okay. This is going to be tough. Move up vertically. Why are you crazy? Yeah, there's a sponge there, but that's no excuse for your behavior. Come on. Get all the flavors. Hey, go back here. How long has it been? And vertically. Let's see if we can squeeze the sponge. Oh. 1 minute. Don't you tell me to hurry up. This is art. I'm creating art here. Wait, how many times is it? It's going to take me just about that much time to plate this thing, so let's see. Alright, this is going to be tricky. $20, 30 seconds. I'm going to have 10 seconds to try to get the sponge on here. Is it good? It's in the green. I think it's because it's on its corner too. It's going to be like, it's not cooked all the way. Yeah, it's not cooked all the way. It's fine.
Your thing is served.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully that wasn't a credit. What? They love the taste. The realization time only over 5 seconds. I don't understand. Too much oil? The oil was in the pan. I didn't take the pan and then pour it, glaze the salmon with it. Too much salt, whatever. Dangerous object? Fair enough. I'll take that. Yep. Fair assessment, all right. I can take criticism. Let's agree to disagree. Yeah, how about that? How about you take yourself to another restaurant if you don't like my artistry. Am I even putting on this? Please tell me it's 12. So there is no call for salt at all. Do I just toss it? No, that'll be fine. No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So is a trout. That's freshwater fish too. I can't even blame it on the ocean. Black pepper, 5 grams. 5 grams. Got 6 on there. Boop, boop, ba-doo. And we need dill and thyme. Wait, do we know how much? 5 also. Oh, we got it perfect. It's like 3 shakes, it sounds like. 3 shakes is 5 grams. Oops. I missed some, but I got 5 on there. Boom. Place on baking tray. I like baking tray recipes. Nope. Oh! God! God! Dang it! We're fine. Don't you do it, fish. You die. Ah, God. Let's go back to life. Okay. Can't move too fast. How do you expect to speedrun this game if you can't move fast? Come on. 90. Boom. Lemon. All right. Let's do this. Shasha. Shasha. I'm a ninja. Okay, this is the one where I have to put the horseradish on. So I have to remember that. Should I bring it over? That'd be smart. Horseradish. Smart strats. Plate. What else? And then we gotta come over here and do the garnish. I think I'll do one more day after this. As if that was the critic, the first one. Hopefully it wasn't. I feel like they're gonna tell me. Okay, gently. It's not drop trout if we don't drop it, right, guys? Our specialty. 1, 2, 3. Look at that, perfectly plattered. It's actually quite nice looking. Boom. What, is it the salt? Our flame went down? Everything's above average. I don't understand how our flame went down. Unwanted salt. Not enough. Oh, we forgot the horseradish again. God dang it. Lemon quarters. Technique. This is lemon. I've gained enough to unlock some recipes. New order. Chicken broth in a pot. What is this? Shh. Chicken broth. I feel like chicken broth should also be in the refrigerator. I don't know. I'm not a cook. How much? Anybody else do that? Where you throw the package in the trash from what you're trying to cook, but then you keep picking it out of the trash because you keep forgetting what you're supposed to do. That's me all day. That's why I can never be a cook. That alone. Let me check in things. 700. I feel like, oh no, I need to buy more. I feel like it doesn't matter if it's too much, right? I guess it would dilute the seasonings if it's too much. Hopefully it tells me what's already in there. Oh god, I gotta do math. Oh no. Game, why? 4 something? 4 16? God, oh. 732, okay, whatever, man. I got the number right, I just didn't, I was slow on the draw. Salt. 12 grams. So what was it, the broth's already salt? Maybe that's what it is. No, can't that be too much? Boom. I'm the only English speaker streaming this. Probably because it's 1:17 a.m. in my neck of the woods. So maybe it's late? I don't know. 12, 13 grams, because I will it so. Cayenne pepper. Let me guess 12, even though I gotta double check. 6. Ooh. Ooh. It's like Shaq. Dodged a bullet there. Tomato. Wait. Got the math. Uh, 240. Alexa, what's 960 divided by 120?
960 divided by 120 is 8.
Got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think Alexa was a little too loud. Sorry about that. She's my helper. Onion. 120. That's just one, right? Boop. Boil for throw tomato. 60 seconds. Then blend. Boop. Boop. Doop. Boop. Goop. This burner is still on, by the way. All right, let's throw tomato. Throw. Let's throw it out the window. See if we can hit somebody on the street. We have to hold it. Oh yeah. Oh. My window. Oh no. My window. I hear his answers as well. That'd be funny actually. Because you know that like Amazon keeps track of all this stuff. So they'd be like, it's weird. Like 6 Alexas. Oops, sorry guys. 6 assistants that shall not be named answered the same question at the same time. What's that about? I don't know. Initiate algorithm protocol. We must send out what is it? Recommended purchasing. Recommending purchasing of tomatoes. Even though I didn't say tomatoes technically. Is that it? Sour cream, 150. See, this might be why too. It doesn't tell you whether you should have these things refrigerated. Oh, I took the cap off. That was accident. Oh, I just put it in my bucket. God dang it. I'm the shortest memory. 150. Okay. Oh, God. How am I supposed to know? Yeah, it doesn't say whether or not any of this should be freeze. Like, there'll probably be maybe later editions. They'll do all that. So, it's gonna tell me how much is in there already. Okay. Thank you. Hanefere. Pork, 300 milliliters. Soup plate. All right. Pour. I like so. Oh, get a little extra. No! I want to take a picture of the one. Nice. Look at that. So you can't drop below 4-star. You know what that reminds me of? Ride sharing. Too much sour cream. Sure, wrong amount. How do you not know what the amount is? Tomato soup. Wrong amount of product. I gave you more than you asked for. You're welcome.
I ordered exactly 300 milliliters. What am I supposed to do with this other amount of milliliters?
Let me just keep it, just in case. Can I clean while I'm waiting for next orders and stuff? Yo! Quack Attack 90. Thanks for the follow on the Mixer, baby. Oof. Come on. Come on. Get in there. Get in there. Oh, God. Oh, come on. Got an elbow grease. Come on. These are the worst stains to clean in real life. Ones that have been baked in. I don't think I can clean it. Can't say I didn't try, though. Cleaning phase. I guess I could call the repairman. I thought I was just copping out of cleaning it, but I guess that's what you're supposed to do. Hurry! 14 seconds. Ah, we got time. What else? I feel like there's way too much space in this kitchen for, like, this game could be a food truck. And I think I saw somebody while the dev was playing, say something about having this being multiplayer would be amazing, but imagine how crazy it would be. And I don't see my body, so I don't know if, like... Hey, you know what I want to try? I was just thinking, I can use this soup for later, somebody who might want some, after we've already cooked it, right? However, it might be getting cold. So maybe I can microwave it. But, oh wait, I was about to say, when do I put this pot in the microwave? It's metal. I don't think it'll fit, number one. But number two, obviously I would just put it in a bowl and then microwave the soup in the bowl. You gonna see me make a mess? Oh, it's about to go down. I'm pretty sure if this is as a simulator, this is as simulation-y as it likes to claim. I'm about to see some fireworks. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, bud. Ready? What's this for? Hi, of course. Ah, boo. Is there a microwavable metal? What if I could tell the temperature of the... What could that be? Ceramic? Some fancy ceramic pot that's kind of painted to look like it's metal. I'm interested to see what the soup temperature is. I don't think I could tell. It just says soup. It doesn't say, I don't think it tell me unless I have an order. I think we're done. We just needed to fix the oven there. Guess we can skip the 12 seconds. Oh. Oh, so that is the legit timing where you're supposed to clean. Why'd our fame go down just then? So the critic did come? Was the critic the one we fed the sponge? So we spent 54. We got 44, so that was a net loss of 10. That's not good. We're gonna I gotta feed my kids. Is this where we're supposed to do the... maybe that's why our thing took a hit. Even though we didn't do that much wrong. So I kind of like that. I think I mentioned before, it was like cleaning should happen at the... cleaning should happen at the end of the day, not at the beginning. But that was on me.
That's my bad. My bad.
This is me washing. Oh, the water can get rid of it. Nice clean pot. We'll just say this is clean too. Everything's clean. I don't think utensils and stuff get dirty even. Up. Whoop. I stand corrected. But then you can't tell. The bottom is nice and clean. Wonder if I could buy a sponge to replace the one I lost. Oh. Up. How do I rotate? Nice. Everything's clean. Do I even bother with the spatula? I think we're prepped. I could try to maybe get extra sour cream and extra chicken broth. I think that's maybe what set me back. The fact that I had to restock up on these. These lasted me like 2 days before. It was fine. Okay. Let's do one more day. I'm gonna make it. Can I actually press these buttons? Oh, I can. Can I save energy? Oh, got a brand new thing. Oh, God. Pork chops. Pork a la chop. Are you in here? Pork chops. You can recycle your liquids? Recycle. You could buy a funnel and then funnel chicken broth back into the thing? Don't tempt me. Salt, 4 grams. These should all light up on what it is. See, that's the thing, because like, it's this whole game kind of screams multiplayer because there's so much space. There's multiple screens that aren't synchronized, as if there's going to be different people on different screens looking at different stuff. Can you just imagine I'm reading this and someone's like, "Hey, let me check something real quick." Be one of those fun little multiplayer games. Black pepper. But the thing is, I don't think this game is like early access or anything. It's just like maybe prospecting. The game logics are broken. Oh, it's just bad UI. Time. It's time to season. How many grams? Let's guess 4. Oh, 6. Yeah, should I be flipping this? I don't know. Maybe that's why. That's what's taken away from being perfect. Maybe I should put half the seasoning on one side, another half on the other. Um, $30 milliliters. $32. They're gonna call it oily. That's fine. Recycle it. Do you get money back for recycling? Do do do. Just put it on there, right? Up, 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 up. 120, right? 120 is 90. No. 130. Wait, what? Yeah. Why does it just say 130? So 10 seconds longer than that. I think I made the mistake with doing that before too. So what am I gonna do about my window? Can I repair it? I need step stool to flip circuit breakers. I guess if you have multiple things going, no, you can't. You only ever have one order at a time. It's a little strange. Once again, it screams more food truck than full-blown restaurant. I don't know what city this is, but there's enough buildings for me to assume that it's actually a fairly large city, and this kind of square footage does not come cheap. Yep. Beep. Beep. Boop. I guess I call a repairman and do it. Yeah, probably right. All right, here we go. Spatula. Let's go, Spatch. The dream. The dream flip. Cha-cha! Come on. How do I just nudge it? Gently. Shit. No. Come on, man. How do you flip these things? It's gonna be unevenly cooked. Ah, come on, you son of a... Looks good, right? Still trying to nudge it just a little. Hopefully somebody's keeping track of the time. The time. Slide! I put oil on this thing. It shouldn't be sticking this hard. This make me hungry. Oh yeah. There we go. Oh! We're fine. The chop is good. Okay, just take the meat and flip. Is there just a button that I automatically press and it does it? Am I messing this up by trying to do it manually every time? Gently stroke. Oh no, not again. Okay, lift it super high to the side. See, it returns. That's not nice, game. That's what happened. Okay. Baked potatoes. Baking tray. Oh god. I feel like this is good. It's just gonna sit. Do we have a heat lamp? Oh god damn it! Every time I get into a good groove, I'm like turning too fast. It's fine. It's fine. I clean these floors every day. Hopefully. Click and flip. So I'm doing the hard mode. Serve hot. Yeah, I'll be hot enough. Cut. Oh god, 1 minute. Cut potato. Oh, we don't have enough time. No. I was dilly-dallying. Cut it into what? Into chunks. So 6 pieces. It's fine. You're fine like that. It's fine. This needs to go in a baking tray too. Oh my god. Cook for 1 minute. What is going on? Well, I messed up, okay? Oh, they canceled the order? Are you kidding me, Rat Meow? I'm finishing it. I'm gonna run them down. I'm gonna run them down and frickin' force feed them this thing. I don't care. I almost dropped it again. So I need a second baking tray, right? Because I got that one cooking. Baking tray. Salt. Black pepper. Black pepper, thyme, and dill. 5 each. 4. Wait, what? Oh, come on. This screen still. 5 each. Black pepper, thyme, and dill. Black pepper, thyme, and dill. 5 each. God dang it. Done. I guess I didn't need another tray. 5. Wait. We got 4. Marvin, thanks for following on Mixer. Salmon plot. Did I put it on there? I didn't. 5. How am I missing? Is time a strong play? I'm not a connoisseur of don't let my head chef status confuse you. Battery or battery. Is it better yet shark? I don't know. Battery yet shark? I don't know. Thanks for following on Twitch. Deal. No, wait, no. I think it has 10 dill. I could have sworn it jumped from like nothing to now like having all the dill. Time. Better yet, shark. Okay. I was like, battery? What's the battery? What's the ET? Isn't that French if it was ET? Baking tray. Here and there, wait. Boop, 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 boop. Cut a lemon while I wait. It's like usual. It looks like recipes typically compose of a main thing you need to focus on and then like a side thing. And I just missed the side thing. That last go around, spending all my time on that pork chop. Hey, can I eat this? Oops. Canceled? Oh wait. I thought the new one got canceled. Can I still serve it, like to get it off the queue? I don't know. Does it matter? Lemon. There's a stinking pork chop. I'll behead him on the street. Yeah, I think this will call. I'll call it after this day. Hopefully, we survived it with a profit or with our integrity, our store or restaurant's integrity. Because you can't give a bad review if you never got the food, right? Am I right? Right? That's cheating. Oops, that would have been bad. Boom. Do you know you can stream both on Twitch and on YouTube at the same time? Yep, and I'm on Facebook Live also, Periscope, so I play natively on Twitter. Okay. Even give me a tip? Oh, they returned my plate. I never noticed this. Complaint? I missed the horseradish every time. You know what? This is a horseradish free. I have a horseradish allergy. So, suck on that. We finished the day. Yay. I think there's food up there. It's hot. Is this hot too? What do you do about hot food? You have to manually clean it up like this. End of the day. I'm assuming if I don't do this, this is going to be waiting for me tomorrow. The next day that you play. You know what I might play tomorrow? I might play Satisfactory. I haven't played the most recent update. See, this should be fine. Because these are here, right? I mean, it's only $1. But I just took an extra one just to play with. And, yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, the tomato should be fine. I'll be upset if this tomato rots because these are technically for purchase. I I'm in love with Satisfactory personally. It just has the right amount of intuitiveness, so you're not meticulously. It's not like you're building, like in Minecraft, block by block. You just say, I want a conveyor belt go from all the way over there to all the way over there. If you have the materials for it, it goes. So your main objective is basically to make everything look nice and to think about how you want the conveyor belts to go and do all its form and function stuff. RIP extentation. Sorry. Thanks for the follow on Mixer, but yeah, now that I'm talking about it, I'm definitely gonna play, because before I had to do these spiral conveyor belts to go up, but they had an update where you have a conveyor belt that goes into these little lifts, and that's like a game changer. I basically need to start over a new map, because to revamp my old one, number one, I have bigger ideas. Number two, it would be a lot of work. So thanks for all the support today. Got a lot of people following. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate it a bunch. Maybe I should play this again. Maybe I should play this game, because even though there was like this one high roller that kept coming through on my Satisfactory stream. He was like, "Hey man, you inspired me to buy this game. Here's a hundo." Wow, thanks. But yeah, the thing about playing that is it's a rabbit hole. It's a rabbit hole of just. It's like, okay, let me build one more. Let me build one more thing. Let me optimize one more production strategy. Let me reroute, because you can program these little trucks to pick up stuff and drop stuff off where conveyor belts aren't practical, and so you have to drive it through its route and then program it, and then it'll go do its thing. Such a good game. Like, the only thing I guess people don't like about it, the fact that it's Epic Game Store. There's a drama with that. Erica's all game. Thanks for following on Twitch. Appreciate all you guys, actually. And let me get to a point in this game where we have the music. I don't like how the music works on here. I'm gonna say it. I'm just call it like I say it. There's dead silence in some of these. Not even ambient noise. Let me see. Man, we can rock out to this. But I appreciate you guys again. I'm also behind on my oxygen not included base. I've gotten to, like, I want to say close to 100 or just over 100 for the first time. 100 cycles. And so that's yet another thing I can go to and play to try to figure out, because I basically ignored keeping my what do you call them, dupes, keeping my dupes clean, so the whole base is filthy. So on one hand, I could start another base and keep my eye on the germs. On the other hand, I can make this a little pet project where I gotta try to figure out how to clean my base and purify the air, purify the water, and all that stuff in that game. Woof. That game, you want to talk about meticulous? This is the meticulous game. Satisfactory is on the other end of the spectrum, where it's just intuitive and you can just be free to do what you want. You just gotta wait for materials to accumulate, and then you gotta make factories to make more materials, and it just keeps snowballing on that. And so I'll see what I feel like playing tomorrow. But I appreciate you guys again. Thanks for hanging out. Peace.